Alrighty, welcome to my public service announcement project slash poster. Obviously, I decided to use caring language as the as kind of the word or phrase that we got from Morrison. So I'll kind of explain a little bit first about the aesthetics of my poster and why I kind of made the decisions I did aesthetically, and then we'll kind of move into the context and the content of my poster. So I went with some primary colors because it's simple, but it's also entertaining. So you have, of course, like the yellow, blue, and red, and the white and black as well. So like that provides some great room for some contrast there, which I kind of decided to use. Hopefully effectively to draw attention to some specific things. And then as you can see, like the font starts out like fairly large, and then we kind of move into like smaller font, as we get into the details of things, and then we finish a little bit bigger on a kind of a stronger note. Also, everything's like kind of centered toward the middle of the page, um, which is kind of nice. I like that view where you can just like, okay, like I start at the top and like I just read from left to right, like normal. I find that like very aesthetically pleasing because it's not annoying to like try to read. Like some other posters might have you reading other ways, and that's okay. But for me, this seemed like the best option and the most authentic, so that's why I went with it. Alrighty, so hopping into the content of this guy. Um, so watch your language. I feel like that's the first thing someone would see, and that's why I have it in like super large print in red with a black background. Um, because that's what immediately draws someone in, and that draws your attention in. So you see that from far away, and as you get closer, you can kind of see like the white on top, which is a pretty big bar of white. So it kind of draws your eye up there, and you like care about life. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, is that a question at me? Like, yes, I care about life. So that kind of creates a sense of urgency there, which gets people reading the rest of the poster, right? So use caring language would kind of be like the next thing that I would read. Um, so use caring language. I thought about throwing in like an exclamation point right there, but then I figured, I mean, no, like nobody's going to use caring language or more likely to use caring language because I have an exclamation point there. It's not necessary. So anyway, yeah. And then that kind of transitions pretty easily into like, hey, how are you? Which is an example of using caring language. Like, say you're at a bus stop waiting for a bus, and someone sits down and they don't look like they're doing so good. You can say, hey, how are you? And like throw a smile their way. Little gestures like that expressing that we care are so essential, because we support people doing that. We elevate and we also inspire people, by just reaching out and saying, hey, look, I care about you. you know Somehow that is so good and so building for people. People just feel like other people care, and that motivates them to do some awesome things in their lives. So, a little bit later on, after we get past the definition, we kind of learn a little bit about like some examples of how we care. So, when we care, we say hi, we wave, we smile, we communicate, etc. Um, we help sustain life by caring for others around us, making life happier and worth living. Now, that was kind of an interesting choice. Like, I could have left it like making life happier, and that would have been fine, I feel like. Except that one, I would have had like a little bit of a spatial gap from like the end of happier all the way there, so that wouldn't have looked as centered on the page. And like I wanted to throw worth living there because frankly, if if people, particularly like the people closest to me, like my family, didn't interact with me and didn't care about me, life really wouldn't be worth living, you know? Like sure I could still contribute to life, but if everyone did not care and no one took time to say, "Hey, how are you?" and get to know me, I would feel like purposeless, and I feel like I wouldn't be making really meaningful contribution, and life wouldn't have very much meaning for me. So then afterward, um, remember your first steps. We'll think caring parent because you're sure walking now. So that kind of identifies this like image that everyone has, like this fantastic childhood image of like some parents helping someone to walk. And then it contrasts really perfectly with don't be the reason someone falls down, support others, care. Because really, if we don't support people, they don't, we don't care. So, um, yeah, that's my poster. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know what you think. Take care.